Welcome back to West Texas View.
Welcome back to the West Texas View. Debbie Erdworm and Janet Cross are here talking about Alzheimer's and some of the ways that we as caregivers or we as patients can understand and cope with this disease. And I want us to talk now about the Clergy and Church Leaders Workshop and how and why.
That came about because you're looking at the entire staff of the Alzheimer's Association for 49 counties, and we have tried to think of ways that we can maximize our effectiveness and how we can reach the most people, but also because we hear from a lot of people that they feel like they've lost their church family or they've been abandoned by their church family as a result of going through this journey. Because this is a very socially isolating disease for the person with the disease and for their caregiver. The responsibilities become so overwhelming and it becomes so difficult to get to the church, to attend the services or to go to Sunday school or take part in any of the activities, and they feel lost. They may have grown up in the church family and now they've reached a very difficult challenge in their life
when they
and
really
they don't
need.
when they need it and they don't have it. And because of the way that the churches have changed so much, when I was growing up, your pastor was there for 20 or 30 years, and now they're relatively mobile, and congregations have grown. So the minister may not be fully aware of people who are now missing from the congregation. However, the congregants know if someone is no longer there and taking part. So this is a workshop that we have developed that's not just for the pastors or for the members of the clergy, but for any church leader, whether it's an elder, whether it's a deacon, a Sunday school teacher,
chairman of the benevolent committee,
or just someone who's very active in the church, an active participant who says, I want to learn more about this and bring this back to my church family to learn about the disease and to learn ways that we as a congregation, we as a church family can support people who are struggling with this issue. Yeah. What can we do to help to keep them involved with the church, even if they physically can't come? But we can still maintain that, because there are ways to reach people with Alzheimer's even way into the journey, and one of the ways that we can reach them is through their spiritual self. Reaching them through scriptures or church hymns or anything that is familiar to them that brings them solace. Maybe they can't actively participate in that.
They can't remember the words of the song, but they can.
And you might be surprised at how well they can remember, because that's those deeply ingrained memories. Those are hymns that we've learned from childhood, and we've used them every Sunday over and over. So they may be able to do that, but at the same time, they may connect to it, even though we can't really tell that they're responding, except maybe by watching their body language and their facial expression. There may be a relaxation or a calmness that comes about.
And so we may give them peace. Again, I have to use this as an example because my uncle, the only time when he was agitated, I could calm him by singing Amazing Grace.
Exactly.
And that just calmed him immediately.
Exactly, and that's an excellent point, because that's the way that we have to connect with people who are deep in this journey, who are very far advanced with it, is by really reaching back in the memory bank and using those long ago memories. And church services are long ago memories. There are parts of that service that we know by rote. You don't even think about it, and as it starts in the service, you just automatically start the response. And they haven't lost a lot of that. There's a familiarity to it, but there's also just the comfort of somebody coming in who feels comfortable sitting with somebody who has Alzheimer's and talking about something that is familiar, which also gives the person who's visiting a tool. This is what I need to be visiting about, so now I know what to say or how to help. And it is just a relaxing and calming effect, but it keeps them connected.
But the other thing that you're going to do in this workshop is teach them how to teach others of how to help, because it doesn't do you any good to say to an overwhelmed caregiver, call me if you need me. They don't have time to call. And so you need to say, what would that person need the most? And then say, I will be by and and pick you up and take you to or pick up your list and go to the grocery store for you. Or I'll pick up your packages and take to the post office if you know they've got something.
Yeah, there's a variety of
especially at
things.
Christmas.
And I think
Yeah.
Debbie's church did this. A Sunday school class came together, and as a group, they decided to assist a family that was coping with this disease. And together, they would say, okay, 2 of us are going to go sit with the individual who has the disease, while the caregiver has the opportunity to attend a church service. So that they could then get out and still become part of and feel like we're bringing the church to the family, and we're allowing the caregiver the opportunity to get out. Have a list of things, okay? In this group of people who are going to be assisting, what are the things that they're comfortable doing? You know, I'll take care of the yard. I like to work on cars. I run a lot of errands so I can pick up things. What is it? Offer very specifics that you're fixing a large meal for your family and you know there's going to be leftovers. You've made a large stew or something. Well, then offer to take a bowl of that over so that they don't have to cook. Be very specific, because you're right, we're so overwhelmed, and we all offer, but honestly, we don't know what to offer.
And they have the very best of intentions, but it's so general. You know, what can I do? Well,
They're too overwhelmed to tell you what you
They
can
don't
do.
even know. Janet tells them, make a list, put it on the refrigerator, and when somebody calls, go to it and mark it off. She's
so-
going to do this week. Thank goodness. You know,
Here's a
okay.
list of things that I need done. The car needs to have the oil changed, the yard needs to be mowed, I need somebody to run by and pick up the dry cleaning. You know, I really need to run by the store, and here's a list of 4 or 5 essentials things that I'm running out of, and just go over to that list and say, okay, here's some things which one of these are you comfortable doing, or do you have time doing? And I also say reverse that. If you're making the offer of help, here's some things that I'm comfortable doing. I'm going to be out and about and running some errands. I'm going to be going to the store. I'm going to be going to the mall. You know, is there something that I can pick up for you or assist you with?
Idea.
You know, just offer some specifics for them to help them and learn about the disease, because it's uncomfortable helping. If you don't know how to be with somebody who has Alzheimer's, you're not sure how to react. So if we can assist them in learning some of the triggers or responses, it just makes for a more comfortable environment for everybody.
And when you say this is a clergy workshop, it's not just for the clergy, but they need to be involved in this. Because they need to encourage this to go on. But the more members of a church that can come, the better it is. This has been such a jam-packed program of information, and I hope it's been very helpful to you. I hope that somebody will, in your circle, will come to the event. It will be November the 4th, and there's no charge for it. But get on the line and call the Alzheimer's Association number, and register for it, because they do need to know by November the 1st who's coming. This is, again, no charge for this event. It will be held at Hospice Midland in Midland, Texas, but anybody in the whole Permian Basin is welcome to come, and we certainly hope every church will have somebody there. We'll see you next Sunday with another program, and in the meantime, thanks a lot for Debbie and Janet coming today. We'll see you next Sunday.
Thanks for joining us for News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery. This has been a public affairs presentation of KWAB-TV and KWES-TV.